Hello! First and foremost, I want to start my presentation by thanking you all for making time for me today. Ms. Christian, members of the board, for this opportunity to bend your ears. My name is Holly Hellman, and I am here today to speak to Metropolis Health System successes and where we are hoping to take this organization so that we can help even more people. As medicine evolves, we as leaders in healthcare are tasked with the preservation of cost-effective and high-quality care for our patients. In the instance of MHS, we have come to believe that an expansion of services would provide our community with just that. So we set about to see what that would entail and if it is a feasible endeavor. In the course of this proposal, I want to touch on our current services, areas of service we intend to pursue, the results of a brief hospital trend analysis by income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement, potential obstacles, and how we intend to mitigate them so as to move forward. I will open the floor to questions at the end. We do hope for your feedback as we hope to make this transition as smooth as possible. There is a lot of competition regionally, so we really are hoping to put our best foot forward with regards to this potential expansion, which can only be done with your input and cooperation. So let's get into it. Committed to our community, we already offer a great variety of services. We have a rehabilitation and wellness center. We offer home health services, same-day surgery, a skilled nursing facility, community health and wellness, occupational health services, and even recovery services. When organizations talk about adding new service lines, oftentimes one may hear questions along the lines of, could this create burnout amongst employees? Are we at capacity? For this reason, I want to go into each service line in a little more detail as to why we offer these services, to explore why their functions are essential. I will speak a little bit later to options we have to keep employees at max productivity without overwhelming them or inducing turnover. Our Rehabilitation and Wellness Center offers outpatient physical therapy, return to work services, and cardiac pulmonary rehabilitation so that our patients can get back to lives they love as soon as possible. Our home health services allow our patients to become their best selves from the comfort of their own homes. We currently provide skilled care, therapy, and medical social services at an affordable rate wherever patients reside. As technology and equipment advance, our ability to offer same-day surgeries does as well. As you can imagine, this comes as quite a relief to patients. When patients do need a little extra time and assistance getting back on their feet, our skilled nursing facility is the place to go. We also offer a variety of community health outreach programs. We provide educational seminars, a diabetes education center, support services for cancer patients, health awareness events, and even a women's health resource center. For those back at work, we offer our occupational health services. We coordinate with over 100 different area businesses offering consultation on injury avoidance and work-specific rehabilitation services. Finally, we offer recovery services. That's mental health services, including substance abuse programs, and support groups, along with individual and family counseling. It is our commitment to this community that has led us to this idea of an expansion into several more rapidly growing service lines. We never want to be stagnant. We highly believe that after some trend analysis and projections that the revenue produced by these areas of service to be pursued will in turn generate more revenue than cost. That is, ambulatory services, physical medicine and rehabilitative services, cardiovascular services, and oncology services. MHS has set out to answer the most critical health needs that are specific to its community. Over the next 5 years, the MHS strategic plan will continue a tradition of quality, community-oriented healthcare to meet future demands. We are really excited by the prospects of this project. It never ceases to amaze me when I hear a patient standing and even walking the same day they've had a hip replaced, or after they've had a gallbladder removed. With medicine and surgical services becoming less and less invasive, it is no wonder patients would prefer to save themselves the cost of inpatient care to whatever degree possible as they recover in the comfort of their own home. It definitely could not hurt the morale side of the recovery process either. ambulatory services, physical medicine and rehabilitative services, and community health services especially can allow patients independence. Community health initiatives are going to free up healthcare personnel for people in need as people take more responsibility for their health and become more proactive too. Healthcare costs in general will go down with a focus on these services. As the general population ages, also, we must consider the needs of geriatric patients as they become a major demographic. As the population ages, we're going to see a surge in cardiovascular patients as well as oncology patients. In order to assess if this move into new service lines was feasible for MHS, I wanted to take a look at three major financial reports: the balance sheet, the income statement, in this case the statement of revenue and expense, and their cash flow statement. One major figure I like to assess from the balance sheet is cash and liquidable assets. Cash and cash equivalents amounted to $1,150,000. As is common, property, plant, and equipment net is the most valuable asset at $19,300,000. Of their $32,800,000 in total assets, only $3,375,000 was tied up in total assets with limited use. These are all good signs. Looking at their statement of revenue and expense, as you can see in Figure 2, their revenue and gains in excess of expenses and losses is $1,800,000. At the end of the day, it all comes down to revenues exceeding expenses. Here they do so and some, allowing them wiggle room for this new project. Here in Figure 3, you can see MHS's statement of cash flows. One thing I noticed on the statement of cash flows, as well as the statement of revenue and expense provided, was the accounts payable and provision for doubtful accounts figures. Here in Figure 3, you'll notice that accounts payable and accrued expenses and provision for doubtful accounts figures comes to $400,000 and $1,500,000 respectively. This tells me that they over-prepared for any bad debt, which shows a level of conservatism that can be trusted when making these large decisions. I really appreciated that. I tried to approach my overview of obstacles and resolutions as I would a SWOT analysis, being as honest as possible in my approach to finding the most detrimental obstacles and reasonable solutions, hence the title of this slide, Within Reason. Of course, the biggest obstacle in most expansions is going to be cost. What are ways that we can relegate costs? As mentioned earlier, any focus on community care is going to lower them in general for any healthcare facility. From an IT perspective, we need to consider interoperability of current systems, as well as the cost of any add-ons that may be necessary, whether that be additional equipment or IT personnel to man any additional tech. We also want to make sure that none of the employees experience burnout along this new journey. We recommend that additional funds be set aside for education, on-site training necessary, or for new hires, physicians, nurses, or administrative clerical personnel. In the realm of collecting for these new services, we would recommend verifying with payers ahead of time that coordination is possible. Patients being sent astronomical bills when they are already dealing with recovery in regards to these services would be unacceptable. Moving forward, to briefly recap, we discussed our current services, our 6 proposed services, did a quick trend analysis, and went over some obstacles in our path and some resolutions. I want to acknowledge that while I hope that one day we may see the implementation of all 5 of these service lines, we need to be sure not to overwhelm our budget or our staff. I do recognize that taking on all 5 of these service lines all at once may not be reasonable or feasible. Our objective at this time is to, at the very least, see that 3 of these service lines are put into effect. And so I appeal to you, 8 board members and Ms. Christian, on behalf of the number of patients that we can all agree would utilize these new services. We are so excited to take this next step, but we need your support. While it is my personal belief that ambulatory physical medicine and rehabilitative, cardiovascular, oncology, and community health services show incredible potential, it's my feeling that ambulatory services, physical medicine and rehabilitative services, and community health services offer the most promising future. These are going to help the greatest amount of people most cost effectively via standardization of materials and resources without the potential costs of specialization that may come with different service lines such as the cardiovascular or oncology service lines when you consider new equipment, supplies, and personnel necessary. Community health services also, to recap, promotes preventative care, which is where good health care begins. We really think that we have a great start here. Please take your time to process this information and know that I am available for any questions that you may have. Again, I want to thank you all sincerely for your time. Have a wonderful day.